What up guys, it's Sig. Today I'm here at Fire and I'm doing a Blaze Bonder tutorial with you guys. Now this map is fire, kinda ironic though, but I have to use this map. This class is a very fire related DOT massive burning AoE class, and this is the perfect map to do this in. So without further ado, let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is how to get this class. This is the first tier 2 class. The last one was Doom Knight, which is about, I believe, 4 to 5 years ago, which is a long time. And people who don't know what a tier 2 class is, a class that requires 2 or more classes to obtain it. Not as a merge, but as a requirement to buy it. So you will not lose your classes when you buy the class. The classes that you would need for it is rank 10 Necromancer, rank 10 Pyromancer, also rank 10 Embassy Reputation. Now this might seem like a lot, but it's actually not. For the old school players and everybody who's constantly been playing, for the people who already repped and got the classes, all they need is the rank 10 reputation, like any other reputation class. If you was here during the Embassy War, you would have got rank 10 extremely fast and you'd be already ready for this class to come. So without further ado, let's talk about the stat build. As you see, it's a caster with a mage space mana regeneration. 2 ways to see that a class is a caster. If you slap full Wisdom chance on like what I have right now. 852 spell power, 90, what is wrong with me today, 60 attack power. As you see, it's a drastic change in differences. It really can clearly tell that this class is a caster. And also, if you come down here to the intellect, which increases your magical power, as you see, it's completely sourced, as this class sources off of the intellect. As you see, it's plus 202 off of my enchants and 164 off of level 65 enchants for wizard. So as you see, it's a clear another way to tell that a class is a caster. Let's say if the intellect bar is completely higher than any other stat, it is definitely a caster. So let's talk about the mana regeneration. Blaze Bonder gets mana from all hits landed in combat, and especially on crits. The amount depends on the relative to their HP total. Basically, most people don't know what this means, but in other terms, it means the more health you have, the more mana you get depending on the damage that you do. So the more health you have, the more mana you get depending on the damage, especially on crits. So let me show you guys what the armor looks like. I actually have the armor in my inventory, so I'm just going to throw it on. As you see, boop. It looks like an evolved Pyromancer in a way. It's actually really nice. They did a really nice job on it, kind of making have that old school feeling of, I believe in Adventure Quest has an old school feeling, or Dragonvale. I can't remember which one that the original Pyromancer came from, but that's what his inspiration was with this evolution version of the armor. Kind of ironic though, kind of crazy, going off of the original to make it a evolution. Let me stop talking about that, guys. Let's just start with the skills. Let's see the auto attack. It's just simple auto attack taught to all adventurers. 2-second cooldown, a physical skill, and the range is close. This deals 100% weapon damage like any other regular based auto attack. As you see, I'm not critting a lot. This class does not source on crits, not at all. As you can see, it's a highly DOT based class. So I'm just gonna come up here in the combat, come right back down. So there's nothing really more to explain about that skill. So let's proceed on to the first skill. It's called Combustion Blaze. 10 mana, 4-second cooldown magical skill, and the range is far. I'm actually going to read these skills for people who want to know how the skills sound like. It says, unleash explosive flames on 3 enemies and watch them burn with a small DOT for 4 seconds afterwards. Basically, this skill does a 65% weapon damage on contact. It's guaranteed to hit and crit, and puts a really nice DOT on it for 4 seconds afterwards. As you see right here, 462 crit with 139 DOT. You can use this every 4 seconds, and you can just constantly spam the skill for how little the mana cost is for this skill. It's a good aggro to pull the enemies towards you, and a good damage dealer. Not as direct damage, but the constant feeling of every second you can use this skill, which is really nice. So that explains that skill. If you're in an AoE effect, you won't lose any mana at all. As you see right here, you will not use any mana if it's 2 to 3 members, 2 or 3 enemies fighting you. You will not lose mana at all. You can just constantly hit the skill every 4 seconds. Just get a good burst of damage and a good DOT effect of overall time. Oh, I do not want to die, so we just kill him real fast. And while I'm resting, let's talk about the second skill. It's called Choking Shadow Smoke. 25 mana, 8 second cooldown, magical skill, and the range is flora. Your smoke is infused with the power of darkness and causes your opponents to have a reduced chance of hitting you and occasionally stuns them. Persists for 2 seconds, but it's actually for 4 seconds. Let me just make that clear with everybody. And healing the smoke also causes a large damage over time lasting 8 seconds. That was the original version, but Zerado tweaked it a little bit. It does no direct damage. It hits up to 3 people, as you see right here. And it applies Shadow Smoke, dealing a really nice damage over time on the opponent. And the damage over time is at 450% weapon damage over 8 seconds, so you just do the math and you see how strong it is. It also lowers the chance to hit by 30%, which is really nice, and also has a 40% chance to stun them for 4 seconds. Excuse me, guys. I'm just everywhere today. But yeah, it has a 40% chance to stun their target for 4 seconds, kind of similar to Dark Side, but Dark Side has a 50% chance to stun for 4 seconds. But that's okay. With the master DOT that comes along with it and lowering the chance to hit, it's completely nice and a completely overall balanced skill. As you see, this is actually the main constant source, as an ability to loop it. Let me show you guys. That's the ability to loop it and lower the chance to hit, also the chance to stun, and a really nice DOT. As you see, my DOT is almost 400. That applies for 8 seconds. I can constantly loop. This is the main skill you want to go to, especially in aspects of PvP, lowering your opponent's hit chance and whatnot, which is something you definitely want to go to in the matter of time. So that basically explains that skill, so let's proceed on to the third skill. It's called Fire in Your Skin. 30 mana, 16 second cooldown, a magical skill, and a range of status. You are so ablaze with flame that it hurts your opponents if they touch you. You also used your darkness powers to restore your life from ashes around you, causing a heal over time for 6 seconds. It's actually for 12 seconds, as I said, Zerada tweaked some stuff on the class. But that's it. 30 mana, 60 second cooldown, magical skill, and the range of status. This does have the Pyromancer Burning Ward effect, as you see right here, which throws back the damage back at them. One thing that I want to tell you about this one, it's very different and similar in a way as Pyromancer. I'll tell you the similarities and differences. Well, the only similarity is that it has the Burning Ward effect and it has the Reflect effect. But the difference is Pyromancer has that massive damage reduction. This class does not. Pyromancer has a direct heal. This class has a heal over time. Also, Pyromancer with Seared applied, it can bounce back up to 2,000 weapon damage, but this class can only bounce back 1,000. So that's something you need to know about this skill. It's not the same as Pyromancer's Burning Ward, but it's very similar in a way, and it has its own special abilities coming along with the class. So this is a good skill to give you the constant heal, and I advise you to convert from Choking Shadow Smoke to lower the hit chance and give you the time to apply Fire and Skin back, and just keep on converting to them back and forth to give you the maximum survival ability. So let's talk about the rank 4 passives. The first one is Seared Flesh. Increases your damage by 20% to damage over times. DOT. So your all DOT will be applied. It's going to be 20% stronger than normally. So it's really good since this class is a DOT based class. And the second one is Seared Bone, which increases your outgoing damage by 10%. So your overall damage output is increased by 10%, sourcing to everything on the class that does damage and also heals as well. So that basically explains the rank 4 passes. More damage and more damage. You can't argue with a class that burns everything in its path. So let's talk about the last skill. This is my favorite actually. It's called Dark Fire. 25 mana, 12 second cooldown, a magical skill, and the range is flaw. You unleash a devastating burst of dark fire on 3 opponents. They all take heavy damage and continue to burn from a reasonable DOT for 8 seconds. The fire will also apply either a DOT intensifier or apply damage debuff to your enemy. This is actually a really nice skill. This is a skill that you want to go to as soon as the cooldown ends. It's not the longest of the cooldown for 12 seconds. You can use this a lot. This does 350% damage off the back, This cannot miss, but this cannot crit. So let me just go ahead and explain that. All these skills on this class cannot miss for the PvP levels. So it has a reflect, and all the skills cannot miss. So any evasive, beware when facing this class. This class can do massive DOT and let you burn without even sourcing you, trying to get some health back for every time you dodge. So evasives, beware. So let me just go back to the Darkfire skill. It does 300% weapon damage off combat, as you see right here. 1855. It's really nice straight up off the back damage. It also applies a really nice DOT on the opponent. 200% DOT depending on spell power, which is really nice. And also it applies Dark Fire, where that's the actual DOT applying onto the opponent. It has a 50% chance to apply Shrouded in Shadow Flame or apply Burnt to a Crisp. What Burnt to a Crisp does, it increases the damage here they take by 20%. Excuse me, it increases the damage, the DOT they take by 10% for, I believe he changed it, but I believe it's around 8 seconds. And then the other one is Shrouded in Shadow Flame, which is the one that I would probably prefer for you to get, which it lowers the damage output by 20% for, I believe, around the same time as well. So that's a really good, two really good effects. It's 50% chance to get either or. Also still applying the Dark Fire, which is the nasty DOT, so anything will help out the class. As you see, you can basically constantly hit these skills. As you see, it's around 10 seconds actually. It's not 6 seconds, it's around 10 seconds. As you see, I was almost able to hit it right back along with the cooldown popping back. So you can almost loop it, which is really nice. You can almost loop the effects. Let me try one more time. Let me get my heal over time up so they can't kill me. Ah, yeah, it's just about almost able to loop, which is really nice actually. For two skills that's able to loop their effects constantly. Actually, everything on this class can actually loop. The Combustion Blaze can loop. Darkfire can just about loop. And Chug of Shadow Smoke can loop, which is really nice when you want to know about this class. So you can constantly keep your survivability going, and also keeping the cost of damage going as well. That basically tells you guys about the skills and whatnot. I'm actually going to show you guys how all the skills sync together. Haha. You saw that pun there? Okay. Let's continue. As you see right here, that's all the damage done together. As you see, it just does massive damage over time. And just constant. I like to call it riot control, when a class is able to basically control the mobs and enemies around them without any trouble. I like to call it riot control because it knows how to control the fight and control the flow of the battle. You can basically make all PvP stop attacking you by boom, putting up the replay, and making all not hitting you by boom, putting up the hasty buff and just killing them with the damage over time, which is really nice. Really good effect. As for enchants, what I suggest is Full Whiz. This class does not have any crit spikes. This class 100% sources off the intellect stat. Full Whiz is the definite way to go. Higher, since the last skill can't crit, and the only ability that's a guaranteed crit is the first skill. Second skill does no direct damage. So the only two things you have that's able to crit is your auto attack and Combustion Blaze. So intellect is the way to go and increase your power to your skills and your overall damage over time, your overall heal over time as well, and the ability to the class. Alright guys, so it's time to solo. So let me just come up here to the top right now. As you see, almost there. As you see, we're looking at Zolaire. I haven't fought this dude in a while, so I'm not too sure how strong he is. So I guess I'll get into this. So let's get started. Alright guys, so as you see, I'm able to solo Zolaire with this class. So anything around that mist or anything probably even stronger was able to solo. I'll just say watch your skills and make sure you use the proper skills at the right time, or you will drastically lose mana really fast, as it does not have the ability to regenerate as well as AoE than to 1v1 on a boss or whatnot. But in other words, this class is definitely able to solo strong monsters, as you see right there. This monster even had a special attack that did like 1200 damage. So yeah, definitely in this video. Like and subscribe, share with all your friends, of course. The simple routine that I do in my videos is going to be doing a PvP afterwards. This is how this class revolves into active PvP and see how it does against other classes. So that basically sums up this video. I'm Sync. Catch you guys later. See ya.